We're back! More Lightspeed, heaven, hell. Let's go.
Woohoo!
Let's go.
First, we've got Pit versus Makima. And I'll give you a million chances to guess the scenario because you can't. Scenario. Basically, Pit has to take the role of Sporticus by making sure Lazy Town stays active and eats healthy every day. Meanwhile, Makima has to do Robbie Rotten's role and convince Lazy Town to stay lazy by any means. While both cannot kill each other, they can interfere with any plans the other has. I'm going for Pit.
I'm going for Makima.
Okay. So for Pit, I think he would do a perfectly good job of taking the role of Sporticus, just being like a naturally both an inspirational figure and an athletic figure. Because Pit is the captain of the Centurion army. He's naturally very athletic, like perfectly fine, fighting enemies, doing everything like a platformer character needs to do. And it just helps that he's just naturally very charismatic and is a very like compassionate person. He's very kind. He's very fun loving. I think it'd be like he's the type of person you would want to be a motivational speaker for like a children's show. Even like he even jokes a lot, like in one of the boss fights about exercises when he's fighting Cerberus. He's talking about like helping train Cerberus for his Nintendogs points or whatever. That's the thing. Pit just has like a lot more awareness to like even despite Kid Icarus taking place in like whatever mythological world, he has a lot of awareness to modern culture because of his fourth wall awareness. I think that like his like liking for video games would help him get along with that one Gizmo kid or whatever his name is. But just generally, he's very likable. He's got like all the athletic skills and more that Sporticus has. But one thing I think he could do better than Sporticus is working with any kids with disabilities, because as good of a message as Lazy Town is, it definitely skews its audience more towards like working with able-bodied kids. But Pit, being like the one angel who is flightless, like definitely understands how to work with disabilities, which I think would be a very nice thing, like a nice addition to the normal stuff that Lazy Town teaches. Now, I don't know what the hell Makima is doing in this scenario. She's not Robbie Rotten. Her like goal as the control devil seems to be like to create like this utopian society. So one, that does not include lazy slackers, and two, making the people of Lazy Town lazier just kind of defeats the point of control, because you can't. What is there to control if everyone's just being a lazy fuck? Like, there's no utopian world where people are just sitting on their ass all day eating junk food. I'm sure she has the abilities to make people lazy, but I just don't know why this is a thing she would do. And if it really comes down to it, and she's bothering with Pit and all these children so much, I think that's by all means reason for Palutena, who is always in earshot or looking over Pit and making sure he's doing well, to come in. And I'm not sure if she will believe that she's truly above like a whole ass god. So that's my thing for Pit. And that's why Pit is goated and awesome, and yeah, alright. Alright, Makima.
Right. So Makima. Makima is the control devil. She's a being who embodies humanity's fears of being oppressed, being controlled, having a lack of free will, basically that sort of stuff. Now, as the control devil, she has this nifty little ability called control, which basically allows her to control anyone she views as inferior to herself, including animals, other demons, and especially other people. Now, I don't see a single reason why she would ever believe that these stupid puppet people of Lazy Town would be anything less than dirt beneath her boo. Boo. So she is going to take control of them with her chains and immediately make it so that they like any desire to go outside, to eat healthy, do anything like that. Now, it's even better because not only can she control your mind, but also controls your various senses, because Nayata, who is the reincarnation of the control devil, and a very young one at that, aka very, very inexperienced, used these same powers to mess with a demon's taste buds, mess with the demon's taste buds to because originally they loved eating humans, but after messing with them, Nayata was able to make it so that they think that humans taste like crap. So he could just use this Makima, being much more skilled and experienced with this ability, would just use this to make it so that anything that would be considered healthy, any sort of greens, vegetables, fruit, anything like that, will taste like absolute garbage. It could even possibly just amplify the taste of just unhealthy food to make it so that they don't want to eat anything else. And the best part is I am more than confident that she could do this exact same thing to Pit, because the scenario says they weren't allowed to kill each other, but they can still mess with each other, each other. And considering Makima has her own angel devil at her beck and call, I don't think there's any reason to assume that she wouldn't be able to just control Pit as well. Especially considering someone like Palutena, who is a goddess, was also mind controlled. So I don't see any reason to assume why Pit would be immune to such things. Heck, even if we just scrap the controllability entirely, I am more than confident that she'll be more than manipulating enough to be able to just trick the people of Lazy Town into leading a more slothful lifestyle. If Wabi Wan can do it, Makima absolutely can. Makima could absolutely can. She was able to manipulate Denji to a point where he didn't want to think for himself anymore. Like didn't want to think for himself anymore, didn't want to do anything by himself anymore. Basically just turned him into to his own personal dog that she could command. And I feel like she's absolutely going to do the exact same. Is going to do the exact same for the people of Lazy Town. Doesn't help that even like people like Pit even states himself like, geez, I don't know how humans could go across these mountains like do all this heavy labor or eats just floor ice cream off the ground. He himself is not also just having this experience of slothfulness that Makima can take advantage of to make us much more. I just think Makima is just way too smart for Pin. She's going to be able to manipulate however she sees fit, and her ability of control just breaks this whole scenario, in my opinion.
Hey, let me talk about that floor ice cream real quick. This is some bullshit. Okay,
So I think what you're saying about Pit, like
seeing these like Herculean feats of strength and being like, oh, how do humans do this? That's fair, but that's not the goal of Sporticus. It's just to make sure he's not training these kids to be Olympic level athletes. That maybe just Stephanie. He's just trying to help them live a better lifestyle. And I mean, yeah, whatever. He eats ice cream or eats turkey off the ground. Boo hoo. But at the very I think it is a much more reasonable role model that Pitt is trying to be by saying like, okay, you can sometimes have like sweets, but so long as it's just in moderation. He's still like an active person, and he does eat like his fruits and his vegetables, like apples, grapes, melons, eggplants. And I just think like he's just like way kinder, way friendlier. They're gonna think he's way cooler than just this lady in red who comes in to a fucking lazy town. Also, Palutena was mind controlled by like another like deity. I seriously don't think if she gets involved, like for a more serious point, that Makima would be able to control Palutena.
Well, my thing wasn't that Makima would be able to control Palutena. I'm just saying that if even Palutena has shown to have a mind taken away, I have no reason to believe why an angel like Pip wouldn't be also would be somewhat any way immune to such a thing. So I think Makima would be able to control him just fine, considering she again has an angel under her beck and call already. She already has experience. So she already believes herself above such angels already.
Yeah, that
Okay, hang on,
angel is
especially-
technically still a devil in like Chainsaw Man
Especially since
terminology.
like going to like the kindness argument, like it's not like Makima, at least outside, is a rude person. She's generally considered to be like generally like very kind, very gentle. She likes dogs, likes to watch movies. That's like movies as well. She's generally like she's like she's considered like a hero for the people. People considering like she fights devils to try to protect other people. She does herself believe that like what she's doing is for a good cause. She wants to, like, kind of why she wants to just control everything. She wants to stop people, like she wants to stop people from hurting themselves if she can control it. She's basically like just an overprotective parent, and I feel like she would just way more messed up. But like she'll be able to like just take control and stop these people from potentially hurting themselves by doing any sort of anything of the sort. Like she was
Okay,
like,
but Makima, in order to be Robbie Ron, she's got to be like entertaining and just got to start singing and like doing like I don't see her doing "We Are Number One." Meanwhile, Pit and Palutena drop this absolute banger. If I may go into the lyrics, you gotta stay upbeat, or you'll be dead meat. Fire. No,
No, that is straight up fire.
I mean, I pretty much broke my own number one rule of GGM, where I always believe if your argument starts by saying they wouldn't do the scenario, you're admitting they're losing, because it means you're trying to find a way for them to avoid the scenario as opposed to arguing that they would suck at it. Makima, she just controls them to do the scenario. I don't know what this person expected this argument to look like. Like, Palutena can only get so involved before it becomes Palutena versus Makima. Whatever. Take your fucking.
Okay. Even
win.
if we like disregard control, though, I think Pit was screwed from the beginning because I cannot visualize Pit doing this.
But to be fair, there was a lot of nails that was in this coffin, but especially when Larry brought up the whole like stopping people by eating human meat.
Yeah.
Well, that's just raps. That is.
See, the thing is, even if like Pit's above Sporticus in a versus sense, he will never have his aura. He will never be able to do the shit that Sporticus
Hey,
does.
I did my job and said I thought Pit could be like a cool kid's role model, but he's not winning the scenario. No.
No.
Okay, well,
No
to
winner.
be fair, there's one Lazy Town resident I think she's not going to control, because like, what is she going to do when Stingy just says these chains are mine?
That's facts.
Stingy the fucking goat.
oh,
He's
bloody.
the one holding in there.
Wait,
Yeah, shit,
Aqua.
what we
You got one, buddy.
Huh. Wait.
Huh.
Huh.
Hold on. You're.
Huh.
Oh, wait a minute.
No, don't get me started.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Stingy, Stengy, Dengy. Wait a minute.
So Adam from Record of Ragnarok versus Spawn. We got two. They lost. They both lost. They both lost, and they're coming back again. Try it again. Who's going for who?
You jump scared me. I'm going for Adam, but you jump scared me. I was distracted.
I think that just means you lose. I think that's in the contract of Lightspeed.
You weren't on the edge of your seat at nail biting argument, Huntsman.
No, I was.
Okay, so Hunter's going for Adam, and who's going? I'm not going for Spawn this time. I lost my Spawn card.
Aqua Studios YT. I'm going for Spawn.
Aqua is going for Spawn. All right, scenario. Deus was smiling. The seven deities that overlooked Earth and took it in its believers were satisfied with their quota. They had impended hope and resources, enjoying the luxuries whilst failing to end the threat that plagued only humanity. Worse, they had stolen Mithra and were using her as a battery for their processes. Better yet, they had just killed off Asura, having done it to the father right before the daughter. A smirk befell his face. Seven deities fall into six deities. A smirk to fall off very soon. One universe's answer was hell, a demigod of pride before the fall. Not even daring to look at the shadow over his throne, the demigod simply knew the glowing green eyes staring behind their chair. Hellspawn, Hell's Hunter, Spawn. And another universe's response was heaven. Don't cry, my child. I am here to protect you. This is fucking awesome. Even a demigod knew a tone that fell from the heaven as its owner kicked open the door of an otherwise absent chamber. A blight to the gods, especially this demigod's plan. Who else to stand for all their children than the first man, Adam? But all challengers, fallen human or hellspawn, are to be met with resistance. Very well. If you want to give such power a purposeless use, a daring glare at them both. Similar eyes split into different universes. Then you may fry. I'm sorry, I cannot read. Rules. Both must clear Azra's wrath through the 6 deities, or at least as far as they can in their own separate universe. Both must stay alive. Adam can lose his eyes to overexposure if he's not careful, and Spawn is limited by the amount of ectoplasm. AKA, if he goes to hell, he's done. So
This
same thing as the
again?
Doom 1.
Same thing
Yeah,
as
fucking
Doom 1, yeah.
people hate Spawn in this server. Well, they're fully equipped with their stuff, but no Angel Spawn because normal Spawn is Coolio. Okay.
True.
Adam is first in the thumbnail if you're ready to go.
I have the document open. Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. So, Adam, first man, maybe first guy to exist, oldest time, whatever. Not as old as time, whatever. Why did I say that? Okay. So, Adam was meant to be the trump card of humanity in Record of Ragnarok. They ended up putting him in the second round very soon. I don't know why, but okay, what makes Adam special and what I think is really going to help him here is his primary ability of divine reflection, which, like any other ability out there that allows people to copy powers, it lets him copy powers and techniques from other people. So whenever he's fighting the demigods, he's going to be able to use whatever technique they throw at him, with exception to maybe like projectile energy attacks, because we never see him do anything of that sort with his divine reflection. But any sort of like special punch or like any special movement they do, he'll be able to see it, recognize it, copy it, and use it to the best possible ability necessary. One thing I do think is very, very broken for Adam here is the fact that when Zeus utilized the fist that surpassed time against Adam, the punch that would punch as fast as time frozen, Adam, before the punch even gets the chance to land on him, is able to see, react, copy, and use the punch against Zeus in a blink of an eye, like less than that. Because to everybody else, time stopped and then Zeus's neck was snapped. And I think there's no opportunity for the demigods to try and attack Adam without him seeing it in that situation. But I think I really need to cover the chance of Adam's eyes overloading and failing him, because I think context really matters to that happening. What happens in Record of Ragnarok is, over time, Adam's use of the eyes actually like takes a toll on his entire nervous system. But it's only when Zeus actually gives it everything he has that you actually get to see any of that like damage become visible on Adam. It's not even when Zeus throws the punch that surpassed time. It's like way after that when Zeus is like, okay, no more games. I need to finish this immediately. He goes into his final Adama state, his strongest one, where every single punch he throws is being used with full force beyond that of the fist. And it's a complete onslaught of punches, a stand rush, if you will, for multiple minutes on end. Every single one of those punches could end anybody's life if they were to land. And it's only at that point when Adam's eyes actually started to like fail him in any situation. So the demigods are really going to have to push Adam to his absolute limit in order to actually get damage done to his eyes and divine reflection. But even if they make it to that point, even as his eyes are deteriorating and it's getting harder for him to see attacks and react, he still fought for a while and even took we don't know how many attacks he actually took during that like final stretch of the fight, but like Zeus had one hand literally grabbed onto his head. There is no way he missed any of those. The demigods are really gonna have to put in any sort of work to get anywhere with Adam, and I don't think any of them have anything that's going to stretch to that point. There was one other thing I wanted to bring up, but I don't want to go on too long with Adam right now, so I think I'll end it.
Yeah, you're
right
perfectly
there.
good to save that for
Okay.
for your
It's more
for
of a
the
hypothetical, but I could see it changing.
okay. Nice debate, solid. Let's hear about Spawn.
Alrighty. So everybody kind of is already kind of familiar with Spawn, just given the recent death battle with him. But Hellspawn, he was once a former Marine, came back for the love of his life, whatever. I think the difference between Spawn and Adam is pretty huge and is going to matter a lot. Adam, as Huntsman stated, was mainly used as a trump card very early on against Zeus, one god. And it is only one fight in all of Record of Ragnarok that he's actually in. He does have some extra lore stuff, but it's not really relevant to this scenario specifically because it's mainly just who would win in a fight between the deities. I think Spawn is going to be way better off in terms of abilities, even with his Necroplasm meter. The Necroplasm meter has a limit, obviously, but during the course of the Spawn comics, it hasn't actually run out as much. Normally, granted, this is because Spawn can regain Necroplasm from going to hell, which you can't do here, but it's never really traditionally run out in that sense. So I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue here. Mainly, Spawn has a shit ton of abilities he can use on the 6 deities. Time manipulation, soul manipulation. He's manipulated minds, induced illusions, and he literally reality warps all the time. The concept of reality to him is something he can just mess with whenever. And I think that's kind of a perfect example of that is his immortality. Not only is Spawn just able to regenerate with his entire molecules or his just body in general, but he literally reconfigured reality after dying. So I don't he got erased from existence and reconfigured reality to come back. I don't think the deities have anything on themselves that they can actually permanently keep Spawn down, even if they are probably more experienced than Spawn generally. So again, Spawn's immortality is is going to be a big factor here. He has a lot more of abilities that Adam doesn't, because Adam's main ability is reflection. And the problem with this is that when you're using that ability over and over again, because that's the main thing Adam can do, who else is going to know their own abilities better than the 6 deities? They're just going to realize, oh, he's using our own attacks against us. Let's just use our own counters to our own attacks. And there's nothing really going against that, from what I've understand. Adam is really good at stamina. His main thing was outlasting Zeus. But even then, as Huntsman brought up, he eventually got overwhelmed, and when he started overexerting himself, he just died. While he did continue to fight after that, he's going to eventually pass out and just his body's going to stop moving. He's not going to be able to keep fighting. While Spawn doesn't have many ways for the deities to kill him, and Spawn can just mess with him however the fuck he wants. Pretty much, I just think it comes down to, while Adam is really good with stamina and can last a very long time, Spawn's use of more abilities and having his own immortality that kind of reflects back to where the deities are going to be overwhelmed against trying to kill him. I think he's just better off in this scenario more often than not.
Well said. Absolutely well said.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well said. I do think Spawn has a wider arsenal of abilities to use here. I think that's going to help him, definitely. I do think even if we haven't seen it traditionally just run out, he is still running on a supply against the gods. Whether they all go against him at once or it's just one after another, it's still going to take a toll on him no matter how many powers he has. And even if he tries to use all of them at once to take them all out at once, that's still going to be a big gamble for him on that side. At a little bit of an argument against them, like using counters for their own abilities, because Zeus couldn't really do anything about it. That was the most straightforward thing possible. It was just a brute force fight, but he knew his fighting styles more than Adam did, and Adam could just see it and do it better in an instant. What else was I? Dang it! What else was I gonna say? Oh right. Plus, Adam does more than just like normal melee, because we do see his body can mutate to suit whatever abilities he can like copy. We see him as he kills the serpent way back when, that like his arms and hands physically mutate into like bigger scaled clawed hands. So I could see him actually like taking on some of the physiology of the demigods as well. And this is kind of it's not really a nail in the coffin thing or anything. I just think that it's a possibility that can happen over the course of it. I think Adam could potentially even learn to utilize mantra, just for the sake of like, Adam can already utilize abilities that gods can use. He was the first man created by the gods, so he is as close to divine as a human can get, arguably. And over time, if he's saving humans over and over from attacks from the demigods, they are going to, right? It's likely that they are going to devote some loyalty to him, and that's going to empower him, as mantra is known to do within Azura's Wrath. Adam doesn't really have any weapons, sure, but the one he does have is still good. Like the Volander Knuckle Duster, it's still gonna hurt really bad if he hits somebody with it. And again, Divine Reflection's not gonna run out as easily as many people think. Like it would probably take all of the gods jumping him at once to get it near that point. But as Zeus says in their fight, like, if he had gone against Adam with his full strength right off the bat, he would have gotten his ass kicked. He would have been laid out on the floor very quickly. So I think the demigods could just see Adam beat a couple of them and be like, okay, we can't afford to not take him seriously now. They go down, try to use their best immediately, and they're gone. I think that's about where I stand.
All right. In regards to the demigods and taking Adam seriously, I don't know if I'd buy them necessarily immediately starting all out going with their full strength. The deities in Azura's Wrath are known for being very cocky and egotistical. I mean, that's seen with many other fights with Azura. The main reason Azura even beats them to the first place is just because he's so rage-induced that he just gets stronger over time, and that's how he eventually surpasses them and matches them. I don't think they're going to immediately take Adam very seriously. And even if they do, again, I think just jumping him all at once wouldn't be that big of an issue. Divine Replication, I agree, it is a very good ability. It's still using their own abilities against him, and I don't necessarily agree that they wouldn't be able to do anything about it, because while Zeus couldn't do anything about it, Zeus is also very egotistical of himself and very cocky of himself, and didn't really take Adam that seriously until the very end, and that's when he actually started defeating him, as you even mentioned. It's Adam overexerting himself is going to be a major thing, especially if all of them jump him. While Spawn doesn't have to worry about being overexerted, while it is true that Necroplasm does eventually run out, it's not really shown to be that quick, and most of his abilities can just immediately take out most of the deities off the bat anyway. So again, I think Spawn's better experience in terms of using these wider array of abilities that can immediately take out the deities is more important than reflecting the same abilities that the deities use to counter them and then fight all of them at once. I think Adam could probably do it in like they fight one on one. But I think Spawn can do it at a much faster rate, doesn't have to worry about dying or overexerting himself as much, while Adam has one main stick to him and is going to overexert himself like he did with Zeus. That's kind of my main thinking right now.
The main thing I have to say in regards to this debate is just that I know Spawn comics typically match the scale of Azura's wrath more authentically than vice versa. Not that that's like the be all end all, but I just know that I can imagine Spawn in Azura's wrath setting better than I can imagine Adam. And well, I haven't really seen Record of Ragnarok, but what I had seen, it doesn't seem like it gets as cosmic.
They don't show it as much, but the baseline for gods tends to at least be planetary, although there is Hagen having destroyed half of Helheim, which, depending on how you interpret certain information, either means it's half of a universe or 1/6 of a universe.
Okay. The point about like Adam absorbing mantra seems like it could be very helpful in the specific scenario. It's just that it's just actually fighting the gods otherwise. I think I've been more convinced by the arguments laid out for Spawn. I don't know where everyone else is standing, but that is what I'm gathering from this argument as it is.
My vote's for Spawn too. I think he has a stronger case.
I don't know. I think I'm leaning Spawn also. We're very close.
It really just seems like throwing attacks back at the gods isn't going to be as like reliable of a win condition because I'm sure they're all just like decorated, ultra experienced. They're deities. They've been fighting for however long, and if it took, from what I know about Azra's wrath, it took him like exceeding expectations with mantra power to eventually defeat them. If even if Adam is getting mantra power, if he's not as experienced with it, I don't know if it'd be as helpful than how Azura was faring.
I think that would make me lean a little more Spawn then.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning that way as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Seems like it's a bit of a Spawn sweep then, unless there's if there's more of the argument that wasn't touched.
Not much that I can think of, unfortunately.
Yeah, I pretty much covered all my bases.
Okay, cool.
I was weirdly more confident in Adam winning this than I was with the gods against Dante, but I've gone 0 for 2. What is it? Ragnarok is not looking good right
You did it,
now.
Aqua. You brought it back for good old Al.
Yeah.
All right. Now, one more
Leader
debate
redemption.
for the episode that I've been waiting for. I'm so curious how this is gonna go. All right, so Bill Cipher versus Michael, Gravity Falls versus The Good Place. Scenario: as the great axolotl tried and failed to try and potentially rehabilitate the triangular terror, he heard recent progress within none other than the afterlife itself. Not only had they had a complete rework of the morality point system, a group of humans doomed to the bad place were actually able to befriend a demon. Maybe if he found the supposed architect, he would be able to help him with his own two-dimensional demon. Would Michael the demon place in charge of heaven potentially be able to redeem the average Sans victim? Or would Bill prove himself to be a lost cause and maybe even find a way to escape and return to Earth? Who's going for who?
I'm going for Bill Cipher.
Michael.
Okay, Butter's going for Michael. Larry's going for Bill. They phrase it like Michael's going first in the thing, but it is called Bill versus Michael, and the thumbnail is that way. Y'all can figure out however you want to go about this argument.
Would you mind going first, Larry?
Sure. So Bill Cipher. So Bill Cipher, he's the reality warping dream demon of Gravity Falls. He manages to manipulate everybody, including just intelligent people like Stanford? Yeah, Stanford Pines, Diplo Pines, just pretty much like everyone in Gravity Falls, till eventually he was finally able to give himself a physical form, release Wordmageddon into the real world, and it just causing chaos, making things weird. I think there is no redeeming this man. There is no redeeming this man because as was already stated, the axolotl, after Bill's demise in Gravity Falls, it was revealed in the recent book of Bill that that after dying, he called upon the words of the axolotl to try to give himself new life. Unfortunately for him, he was put into basically just the basically just like a place that tried to basically just try to redeem him, try to make him a better place. Yeah, let me pull out the book.
Yo.
He's pulling out the forbidden text.
He's actually gonna put a fucking curse on you, buddy. You better look out.
I'm not worried.
Why is that?
Ooh.
I already sealed my shield anyway, so I have resistances.
That would just be immunity.
I have no shield to manipulate.
See, Aqua gets.
You were sent to dimension number 5150, the neutral zone outside of time, aka the Theraprism. The Theraprism. Here he was sent for his crimes against reality to try basically it's basically therapy to try to make him a better, to redeem him, make him a better person, make him feel sorry for his actions. But unfortunately, that fell flat on his face. Because the reason the Book of Will even exists in the first place is his means of trying to escape from the Theraprism. It's all his way of communicating with us from that reality to try to convince us to let him go, to go shake his hand, to try to take over, try another takeover of Gravity Falls. Bill is very stubborn in terms of what he truly believes in. Like he truly is so self-centered that he believes nothing's wrong. He believes he's always in the right. He's very egotistical. He is very egotistical when it comes to what he believes in. He believes that he is above rules, above laws. Is above laws, even with the axolotl being gracious enough to bring him back to life, giving him a second chance of doing things, instead of just letting him die. He is just so he has too many issues. I think he's just too far gone. Too many issues after another bottle up to create this just insane reality warping god who wants nothing more than to just break everything, just to do whatever he wants to distract from what's really going on, from what's really going on. Even with mistakes he's made, potentially made, he always, anytime it's something that's his fault and his livelihood, he always finds a way to blame it on other people. He truly believes he is not in the wrong. He believes that he's doing what he's doing is the best way of going around it. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I have no clue what the heck the good place is. I have not watched anything. This is a last minute thing on my end, man. But I feel even if as a even if he has any experience manipulating just normal human souls, that is not gonna at all equate to being able to redeem Bill Cipher, who's been around since the beginning of time itself and has basically been through all manners of every part of the humanity's evolutions. He says himself, he's been all over the place. He's been back when America was first discovered. He's the reason. His reason is why he's has his face on the dollar bill. Why the pyramids have been created. He's just generally a very skilled manipulator. So I can honestly see him most likely just manipulating this guy, considering he's also manipulated other deities and just super geniuses before to try to let him escape. I think Bill is too far gone. There's no redeeming Bill.
Okay. Solid.
All right.
Makes sense. Let's hear about Michael, because I also don't know anything about the good place.
All right. So, major spoilers for The Good Place. I am going into the full series, just fair warning. So yeah, Bill's resume, pretty impressive set of abilities, intelligence, and all that. I'm noticing this mark here where like humans apparently tricked him. I mean, we're all prone to mistakes,
Oh
but
boy.
don't worry. Like Michael and his friends, they created the concept to be able to make mistakes, so that it could happen. So like it's not a big deal. So, uh, kind of jokey aside, Michael and the Good Place is just absurdly insane. To give a idea, it is very kind of business, treating the afterlife and all of reality like is sort of a business thing. For example, a higher reality is like just going upstairs. That is one of the jokes that they're like, oh yeah, they added the 11th story. I mean the 11th dimensional spatial whatever last week and all that. So that's the kind of stuff that we're dealing with here. And Michael absolutely could manipulate Bill, or not even just manipulate him. Find and change him as a person, because Michael does have experience with changing demons. So you bring up the Book of Bill. I'd like to bring up the Book of Humans, a manifesto that Michael had written. And it was after he became human, he started to write on the ability to self-improve and become a better person. There are two people, Bad Janet and Sean. Sean is Bill. Sean is just Bill. He literally exists just to torture people. That's what he gets fun with. He loves tearing people's eyes out. He there's a lot of torturous things. Bears that shoot out bees to rip you apart. Food that if you bite, it turns into spiders, which eats your insides, but you can't die because it's the afterlife. You're already dead. Like, he just loves it. And by the end of the series, Michael was able to convince him to stop torturing humans and to take him to a better path. But most importantly, I'd like to point out to Bad Janet. Bad Janet is it's exactly what she is, bad. She was created on the pure concept of being bad. By being good, her existence, or not existence, she just started to melt whenever she tried to do good things or act like a good Janet. So like as conceptually bad as it gets. And when Michael sat down with her and then gave her the manifesto, she read it and then she developed the ability to be good so that she could give it to the other bad Janets and every other existing Janet, which then converted them all. I just don't. They have an eternity to try this. Like, no matter what Bill does, an eternity to try with experience not manipulating, improving these kinds of people. And Bill is very trapped here. Because I do want to bring out that, like, Michael, he invented, like, the concept of memories and then being able to erase them. Bill's got resistances to a lot of things, but there are clearly people who are above him, like the axolotl, able to hold him in that prison. Or, like, the thing that held him in Gravity Falls, the gun that could have killed him, and all that. So, like, he's not immune to everything, which is really bad given that by the end of the series, Michael is, like, the top dog. I would compare him, if not put him above people like the axolotl. And this gives him the ability to, like, put Bill in a neighborhood that he couldn't leave, like Gravity Falls, put him in a loop to where, yeah, he's not going to get good the first loop around. That is the point of the system, is to continuously put them in the loop, and then they kind of get memories each time that the loop happens. And it forces them to become better people over the experience of what sometimes is for several thousands to millions to billions of years. And the ability to just mess with Bill's mind, be able to erase it, I think is also going to put him in a trap that he's not going to be able to get out, and it's going to force him to start getting better. Because he's not going to be able to have those that mind of like, oh, the memories of like what's going on to him, like the millionth loop, is still probably the first loop. And also, most importantly, this is also what helped a few demons also understand and become good people, is turning them human. And that is something Janet, the judge, and I believe Michael by the end of the series can all just do, and Bill would lose his powers as a result. And then kind of forcibly make him go through it. They have an eternity to do this. They have plenty of experience doing like the literal concept in Demons of Bad. Essentially just Bill. We know Bill feels emotions. He was heartbroken with Stanford. Like that's apparently just canon. So like that, I think that it would take a very long time, but Bill is going to be redeemed.
Holy shit!
Okay,
Well then.
There's a lot of moving pieces in this one.
all right.
I was convinced by the Yowie.
That's true.
Alright,
The
so-
old man Yowie was pretty compelling.
So first things first, like I said, Bill is already in his own personal stuck at the moment. In the third prism, he's being controlled by a much higher power of himself. So he's basically is just depowered. He doesn't have access to any of his abilities. Otherwise, he would just leave. Otherwise, he would just leave. And they're trying their best to put him through and try to make him into a better person. But he is again too stubborn, and despite the position he is in, he is still found various cracks into our world like again through the book of Bill. In the Bill, he somehow there's still fragments. People theorize there's still fragments of himself inside of Stan, despite his mind being fully erased. Especially considering his mind eventually came back into being. There was this whole bit trying to find the Bill statue, where those bits and pieces of Stan still being somewhat possessed by Bill. There's even this stupid thing in the DVD box set where he's after you watch the full thing, he basically comes out to the end and hey, just put your hand up and say I will allow Bill Cipher to enter my body. He's still, even despite being in the position he's in, he has still found various cracks and ways into various cracks and pieces into the thing to even again being able to he's shown to be able to possess even Alex Hurst somehow, and be able to communicate with AMAs through the book of Bill and just other various means. Obviously it's never confirmed how he does this, but the fact that he's still this intelligent to even when put in such an this walk in a hard place and still being able to somewhere do it, I feel like there'll still exist a chance for him to get out, even despite all the limitations put on him. Especially since I'm very uncertain if stuff like the reality loops will get him, considering he's just such a, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, everything he is, he's also isn't. Whatever the word for that was. What for that was?
Uncertainty.
Yeah, he's such a quantum uncertainty, and plus, he sees just an entire kaleidoscope of just endless possibilities of himself. You bring up oh, he got tricked by children. It was revealed that was just literally the one out of infinite timelines where the Pines family made it out of that situation line. In every other instance, they would have been dead. They would have been absolutely cooked. I think. So he does, at the very least, if he was truly, I will admit, if he was fully trapped in there, no way out, I do think obviously time would be on Michael's side. But the fact that Bill has already proven on several occasions, despite being held hostage, being completely depowered by an otherworldly power, to be able to find slips into all reality, eventually he's going to find some sucker to let him out. There are a lot of dumb people in our world, and he has literally centuries of experience manipulating us into letting him out. and I think he'll be stubborn enough to do so.
Well, my issue with that is going into a lot of that, I don't think Bill is fully depowered. Because if he was fully depowered, he couldn't have done a lot of this stuff. And that's the major difference between the good place and this prison that he's in, is Michael can just he can just snap his fingers and then you don't exist. He waved his hand and it created a universe. He snapped his fingers, everyone had their memories erased. Someone believed they had a completely new life. In this case, this kaleidoscope, well, alright, if that's a problem, snap. He doesn't have the kaleidoscope anymore. He can only see in this reality. And finding cracks in the good place is going to be next to impossible because of all of the demons that work there. Because Michael created concepts and that kind of stuff when he was lower to middle management. And he has talked about both him and Janet, and it's implied other demons, experience all of time at the same time. There's even a joke where he was like, oh, bless you, and then someone sneezed because he already knew that they were going to sneeze because he sees. He can just look forward and be like, all right, so that's what's going to happen in this time, in the future. This is what's going to happen if I do this. Bill is absolutely trapped here. They can remove all of his abilities. They can change his memories. They can make him just think that he's a completely different person. And most importantly, the Book of Humans, quite literally changing someone who was conceptually made to be bad, is just too big of a selling point, I think. And it wasn't a fluke. It didn't just work once. It worked on every single Janet, which I believe that there is at least a couple hundred, and I believe that it's implied that there's just supposed to be infinite Janets. Which, infinite evil, infinite literal bad, and was convinced by this several times. And even if Bill somehow manages to get his way out, Michael doesn't need to be there to stop him. Janet, literally any demon within middle management to higher, anyone who just pretty much anyone in the good, bad, and medium place, which is heaven, hell, and neutral zone, all could very easily stop him. And because it's Michael is the big guy. He's the one in charge of everyone. So if he puts it this guy's not supposed to be out, he's not getting out. It's just he's against several people with way more powers. He's essentially as trapped as it's possibly getting. They have convinced people like that. I just don't see Bill being able to resist.
The thing is, once again, I said, like I said, it is unclear how Bill was able to do what he did, getting some possession out of Dan being able to communicate with us in the first place. But again, he was able to do this inside. Apologies if it sounds like I'm struggling arguments, but again, Bill wasn't the only person at the therapist. There have been other, basically just threats to reality that are currently being held. That are currently being held some with infinite with diagnosis like dimensional defiant disorder, infinite life crisis, just a bunch of just high powered demons as well, and they've all been trapped and have been plenty of people that have been redeemed by this thing. And yeah, even with Bill being stuck in here, they have still yet to be able to get up to change him, and he still find cracks despite his limitations. Because apparently he just did majority of this with just a simple art book, with a simple art book, creating the Book of Bill, and somehow manages to get into our world. He was able to, once again, he's completely just depowered in this state. He's still a floating triangle, but he doesn't have any access to his reality warping powers that have once threatened threaten just all of existence beforehand. So I'm not sure.
I feel that this kind of relies on an ability that we don't know how he did it, and the fact that they can also just stop him from doing this. Because
Sorry, not to interrupt. It just seems like you're describing this debate as a whole. It feels like both of these characters are largely undefined.
We don't know how he did it, but he could stop him from doing it.
Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, we don't know necessarily how he did it, but like I said, he's capable of like removing powers, removing memories, and in the good place, he's being monitored quite literally 24/7 by characters who are essentially omniscient. And I feel like if he starts trying to do something like that, like that's not going, it feels like Michael has just more solid actual showings of like he's convinced people as literally conceptually made to be as bad as they can be. Like that being good was actually just destroying them. And the book, his book and his points have been able to convert them to the point where they were actually able to be good.
I think it's less so that Bill's bad and more so that he's just chaotic. It's just like he's like largely unquantifiable. Not to say Michael isn't or has no experience with that too. It's just that I'm not sure it's with the characters in the Good Place who are designed to be bad. I don't think it's an exact one-to-one comparison.
It's not a one-to-one, but I think that if you can convince someone who is bad, quite literally the concept of bad into being good, that convincing someone who's just chaotic. Because I think that, if anything, I think that being able to convince somebody who's just chaotic in nature would be a lot easier than convincing someone who's just actually supposed to be bad in every means. And I do want to bring this one thing, in the worst case scenario, I think that they could even just meet Bill in the middle. Because Bill being a very chaotic person, well, they work with demons like that. Like I said, Sean works with them, and they make the good place the bad place and things to like actually torture people. And I can see also just the argument of getting at least some kind of middle ground where Bill gets his own reality, where he is doing work for the bad place, torturing people who are supposed to be tortured, getting his weird Mageddon, but just in a controlled environment. And if he ever tried to like step out, well, they just snap their fingers and then trap him back in that prison or anything like.
I think that's bad for your side if he's capable of finding a middle ground. That just gives him more opportunities because Bill is no stranger to playing the long con. He, like I said, he's been a while since literally since the dawn of time, going over all across the earth, all throughout time, making deals with a bunch of people just to slowly but surely make his way to all reality. If he finds this, is able to just convince them, because he convinced them to make this middle ground, to give him even just a fraction of his power that he once had, the ability to create weird Mageddon, and just the ability to talk to so many of the demons, to the demons. That's just more suckers that he could potentially con into to make his way out. That is not the route you want to go on, because Bill is just no stranger to playing the long con.
I feel the issue with that is that he's just dealing with a bunch of Bills because he's been there since the dawn of time. Michael and his team quite literally made time. They were there before the concept of time, memories, and everything existed. They are the creators of absolutely everything, every concept, everything. Like, I don't think that he's fooling. Like, maybe he could make a sucker out of one of them, but like, let's say that he gets a bunch of people, like a bunch of the demons. And then it's like, oh no, we've got an issue. Oh yeah, let me handle that real quick. Michael moves his hand slightly, and then suddenly all the demons are depowered, trapped in a prison, trapped in their loop. And several of these characters can just do that. He is not manipulating the top tiers of the verse. And the most he can manipulate are absolutely being handled.
Has Michael ever failed with his approach?
with his approach on like convincing people, no, because by the end of the series, we essentially see him approach. It's just two people that he kind of two of the big people that he does is Sean and Bad Janet, and then the rest of the Bad Janets through the domino effect of her, and it showed to work. His book alone was enough to convince every single Bad Janet, which hundreds, if not an infinite amount. So it worked on a very consistent basis to actual bad people. And then I feel that Sean is just a Bill Cipher character that he also convinced into taking his side.
Okay. I feel like I don't have a good enough picture on what Michael's like pratfalls and even strengths are, but from what I've gathered from this, it feels like I don't know. This is just a very complicated debate, but it just if he has the experience working with characters like Bill, I guess he might be reliant on other people coming in to like deal him out. I'm slightly leaning towards Michael. I don't know. I can tell by this radio silence that there's just a lot.
This debate
There's
kind of
so-
hurt my
Yeah.
brain. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I would like.
I have an answer.
I would.
Go on, Ducko.
All right, so I think I've gone on record a little bit before that I think like cosmic entities that want to destroy the world are fucking frauds.
Okay.
While that Michael is more about like just the established order and like the laws of the universe and stuff. But I noticed like if you try to go in and meddle too much with fucking free will and shit, like Bill Cipher got, Pennywise got, Cthulhu jobbed to a boat. Michael has it. Ted Dixon, he's gonna open the bar from Cheers again. There you go.
All right.
if I can say,
I'll take it as you're siding with Michael. Okay,
Yes,
one last
Michael.
thing.
Just the last bit, like to completely sever his ability to like do that. Again, they could just turn him human because that's what they end up doing with one of the demons. At the very end, is that they're like, all right, you're human now. You've got none of your abilities because you are human, and humans can't use these abilities. But, you know, you're still human. And if he did that, then Bill just loses all his powers. And at
Bill's
that
been human before.
But he had his powers.
And he
though.
was beautiful too.
Yeah, he was beautiful. It was quite the looker.
But I think that they could just turn him human and take away his powers, and then like it's very reliant on this finding a crack in a almost perfect system with constant omniscient characters constantly monitoring it 24/7.
That's the thing. I think Bill would have to change Michael more so than the other way around to make him just give up on his pursuit of Bill if it truly is like omniscient and ever chasing.
I'll give it's the same case as Bill where Bill is also like can see in all futures and all that. It's the same concept to where like even though he's been surprised by something in the show, but they've also said that he can see like all of reality. So it's kind of that he will operate under the same plot-induced stupidity if we want to have to bring that in. But then I feel that still applies to both.
Yeah.
If I may, I kind of want to throw a bone to Larry. I think this debate I've probably missed a few things just because there's a lot going around. It seems like a very bigger picture that I'm not getting. But I think a lot of Butter's arguments do kind of come down to while he has convinced people similar to Bill. Just because you're similar to Bill doesn't mean you are Bill. And from Bill's showings, something in me does not tell me he can be redeemed. He's just such a fucking asshole.
So I'm taking that as your vote towards Bill.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Bill. I don't see him ever being redeemed.
So I said I would side with Michael. So it's one for Bill from Aqua, one for Michael for me, one for
Ducko
sorry.
said Michael as well.
Yeah, Ducko said Michael as well.
Yes.
So we have GA and Huntsman and Nico and Nero. So GA, do you have any
Dog, there's like steam coming out of my ears right now. That's where I'm at.
I knew this was gonna happen. I knew this was gonna happen.
I'm just gonna say, you know what, Butter? Because you sent me that fucking Marcel airplane image, I'm gonna side with Bill.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Why does this always happen with me and Bud anyway?
I'm gonna say much like everybody else. I brain hurt. Think too hard. I both sides kind of feel like a wall, and as Michael's side does sound like it would be the perfect place to try and redeem Bill. However, I feel like if there's anybody who would break that system, it would be Bill.
Okay.
That's kind of the conclusion I'm
That's
getting to in my
two
head.
sincere votes for Bill, one pity vote for Bill, or like revenge vote for Bill, 2 votes Michael. All right, Nico and Nero, and then we'll call it.
Alright, so here's where I'm at now. I feel like the book could work, but that would have to have Bill, like, sit down, wanting to read that, and, like, actually, like, putting in the motions, which I don't feel like he would do willingly, unless he does just get, like, entirely changed, like, personality-wise. I'm oddly kind of iffy on that for some reason. Well, because, like, he would still have, like, his vision, the kaleidoscope shit. Mainly that.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now, a part of me feels like Bill has the larger wall to climb to get out of this good place. So I think I'll side with go with gut instinct, Michael.
All right, Nero.
Oh god. Okay.
This is gonna be what's happening when he tries to give Bill that stupid book.
In fairness, the books are just supposed to be his words. Like that was just something that he.
Nero, free us from this good place, this hell.
No. Okay. So, from what I'm understanding, both have been around for like since the dawn of time, and both. Is that right? And Michael has been around since the dawn of time, right, or whatever. Or...
Michael's there way before time.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Ben Howell joke. Sorry.
Okay. Fucking. I don't know. Okay. If I have to pick, so from what I've gathered, Michael is just like they're both really stubborn. Both have like. Okay, Michael can trap Bill in like fucking in like an endless amount of realities. Bill can like Bill has a chance to escape, maybe, possibly, but I don't know. The thing that's like getting me is that like we don't know how long Bill has been like trapped by the axolotl, but no matter who's also like another like omniscient deity or whatever. But no matter what that thing did, it didn't change. Bill didn't want to change, so that's where I'm going with Bill.
Okay, Bill Cipher wins. I'm not sure if that's a satisfying conclusion for everyone.
Oh damn! I wanted to be the tiebreaker. I've been listening this entire time.
You know what? You can tie it if you want. You know what? Go for it.
Sure, Michael.
Okay. Well, why?
I think the easiest thing for Bill lacks a lot of decent resistances to stuff that Michael has, and he could just get turned into a human with no powers, and then he's forced to change, or else he's never going to get out because he will no longer be able to reach out to the fourth wall or anything. Obviously, Bill will be able to see that coming with his kaleidoscope vision, but Michael has the same shit. So therefore, if Michael's at an advantage to start with because he's in his domain, he's in the good place, quote unquote, then Michael's going to have, before Bill can kind of intuit what's going on, I think Michael will probably just put him in a state where he has no chance but to try. The axolotl just kind of put him in fucking cosmic therapy. He didn't have any other abilities besides that. Pretty sure Michael, with his actual abilities, can just, you're a human now, Bill, so fuck around and find out, I guess, but you're gonna have to change somehow.
Well, we're tied now, but I will say some of Bill's votes are out of
Let's give it to
Spite
Michael.
more so. Okay, you give it to Michael.
Yeah,
Let's give it to
if I was
Michael.
to sincerely vote, it'd probably be Michael.
Okay, well there we go.
There we go.
All right,
You're
which
had a
Michael?
lot of fun
The winner
with
is
it. That was-
Michael. Jesus Christ, that was
That
was a lot.
I don't know if you can tell, but I'd really like to talk about The Good Place. I love that shit.
I couldn't. I thought your debate was
I thought you hated
ill-informed
that
and
shit. That's the
under
vibe I got.
researched.
This is one I think actually could be a GGM.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah,
We can finally put an end to all of Bill's shenanigans across all of our episodes.
that would be funny if that ends up being what does it.
No more Bill Cipher.
It's our own personal like
he's going
Deadpool
through
arc.
fucking therapy.
Okay. So, thank y'all again for coming. Thank y'all for watching. Thanks for the suggestions. I think we got a few more we can do. We're not, I should probably clarify. We're not going to do every single one in the batch. Just the ones that really stick out to us that we feel like
Can you
we
put
can.
this image on screen?
I would love to put this image on screen. But yeah, we'll talk about the ones we can. We're probably not going to get to all of them, but if yours gets looked over, then there's always another shot to suggest some. We're probably going to do a batch with a new theme pretty soon, so look out for that. And yeah, thank you for watching. We're gonna probably go watch Cal vs. Simone again for the 20th time.
Can you make that
Bye
image
bye.
to a